What is up, humans of the cardboard? Welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. King's Court is officially fully revealed, and I did my reaction to it yesterday. So today I want to go through and I actually want to review the set as a whole now that I've had a chance to really think about it, look at the set and where it's at, look up some certain things like prices of certain cards to really see how useful the reprints are, the ones that I didn't know off the top of my head as well. And yeah, just really go over this set as a whole and just have a nice little discussion. So first and foremost, we got to go through the set real quick. It's actually a fairly short one at 62 cards, which is pretty cool. We're kind of going to skim here and then we'll come back and talk about stuff more specifically. But starting off, of course, we have all the new Arcane Knight support. We've got the new Boss Monster Triumph Joker, Joker's Knight, cool extender, Imperial Bower, kind of like a rescue rabbit for the Knights. Joker Straight, this card kind of essentially can get you all three Knights on the field, but it does lock you into Light Warriors. Keep that in mind. Base card Fusion, a fusion for them to get their fusion out of the extra deck. Thunder Speed Summon, almost like a quick tribute summon card for a level 10 monster, kind of cool. Joker's Wild, gives you the ability to kind of copy the effect of any of the other arcane cards. And then Court of Cards helps you summon out, it's kind of like a continuous that lets you kind of call the Haunted or pull the Knights out of the hands if you have no monsters. Then moving on, you have Magnet Induction. This is a cool Magnet Warrior card. Exceed Hyper Cannon, super awful card because it revolves you to play XYZ Dragon Cannon, pretty awful. Goldeneye's Idol, really interesting card, lets you look at your opponent's hand for no cost. Zolga the Prophet, Earth Fairy support, pretty cool. F-Zero Utopic Draco Future, this is the chase card, the #1 chase card of the set most likely. Super Poly Target and Guilty Gear Freed. Crystal Girl, nice water support. Tindangle D-Holes. Rose Princess and White Rose Cloister, nice plant/rose dragon support. And then Morph King Stygiel, he's kind of just a cool fiend nifty card. Burning Soul, interesting card, but it does require you to have a level 8 or higher Synchro on the field, so interesting. Hyper Galaxy, this is Galaxy Eyes support, very cool to see in here. 2 Pendulum cards, this one helps you make an Exceed out of your scales. This one helps you return monsters from the field into the scales, pretty cool. Dowsing Fusion lets you fusion summon by banishing fusion materials from the grave, but you can only use pendulums, so a little weird. Take specific pendulum decks to do so. Eternal Bond, pretty cool, more photon support. Then for the reprints, you've got obviously the 3 Knights, you've got the other boss monsters in Arcana Extra Joker and Arcana Knight Joker. Gravekeeper Spy, awesome. What is that, goat format card? Majestic Dragon, Stardust Xiaolong, cards that haven't been printed in a while and are coming up for a Dawn of Majesty with new support there. Rescue Rabbit, never a bad reprint to see here, always useful. ZW Tornado Bringer, Ultimate Shield, and Eagle Claw. I think specifically Eagle Claw and Tornado Bringer here are interesting because of the future Utopia support we're going to be getting very soon. For Synchros, you've got Scrap Twin Dragon, Cloud Castle, Baxia, and Xiaofeng. These two are pretty nice, just cards that haven't been printed in a while. Cloud Castle is nice if it gets a rarity bump, but other than that, nothing crazy. And Scrap Twin is Scrap Twin. For Exceeds, number 39 Utopia has so many printings, kind of crazy. Dolka needed a reprint bad. This card's only been printed once. Utopia Ray needed a reprint with the new Utopia stuff. Ptolemy M7 needed a reprint. Leo Arms needed a reprint. Fortune Tune needed a reprint. F-Zero Utopic Future. I think it has multiple common printings, so this one's not as relevant, but okay, still nice that you can get this and the Draco Future in the same set. Might as well package them all in together. Infinite cards, this card's actually not bad. Then a couple generic stuff, Rhoda, Warrior Returning Alive, Ties of the Brethren, Pod Duality, Unexpected Die, World Legacy Guard Dragon. Now that is a beautiful reprint card that's been between $5 and $10 for so long, and it's a 3 of in every dragon deck, so it's nice that this will finally go down a little bit for the super budget players that want to play cool dragon decks. Lightning Storm, this is the second chase card next to F-Zero, just because this card's been $80 for so long. It's really nice to finally see it get a reprint here. We'll see how much that ends up dropping. Warlords, Converging Wishes, fine. And then finishing off with the 3 Wicked monsters. You have Dreadroot, Wicked Avatar, and Eraser there hiding at the bottom. But yeah, that's like a quick skim through of all of the cards. I think we got to go at this from a couple angles really to analyze how good the set is overall. First and foremost, you got to look at the 3 different markets that Konami tends to aim for, when should be aiming for at least, when they're looking at making new sets, and that is the casual market, the competitive market, and the collector's market as far as Yu-Gi-Oh goes. So the first one is casual. As far as casual goes, there's some cool stuff, right? Like the Wicked cards are like anime related cards. Converging Wishes, I believe, is from the anime as well. You've got stuff like, let's scroll up, you have like the Utopia reprints here, which are nice for that. As far as reprints goes, there's nothing too insane here. But as far as the new cards go, that's when you get spicy, right? The Knights, right? That's where you hit, I think, the casual players the most. Is boom, this is essentially a new archetype, because they weren't really a full-on archetype before, but it is Yugi based, right? These are Yugimoto's, like an expansion on Yugimoto's classic Knight cards. That is very, very cool to a lot of people. The designs are awesome. Seriously, guys, the artwork for these new cards is so cool. I wish they were better competitively, but I'm not going to complain because I still think they're just cool cards in general. So yeah, like a lot of casual players came from the anime, watched the anime, so when they see Yugi cards that their favorite characters played, they're going to get hype. Same thing with stuff like these 2 cards as well, or actually more than that. Magnum Warrior stuff, more Yugi support, right? Exceed Hyper Cannon, that's Kaiba support. Golden Eyes Idol and Golden Eyes is specifically like Pegasus support, while Zolga is more so. Is that Merrick? Did Merrick use stuff like that? I don't remember off the top of my head. I don't think it was Pegasus, but like somebody else from the anime used Zolga, the original Zolga. This is like a redone version of that. But still, I think that hits the casual market pretty well, all things considered. Then you get to the competitive market. I don't think really any of this stuff is really hitting competitive market too cleanly. Maybe Eyes Idol could be interesting because he does let you look at your opponent's hand, which is crazy. Draco Future. This is the biggest card in the set as far as competitive stuff goes. And yeah, he's just insane. A lot of decks are going to try and play him. Guilty Gearfried. This is just kind of relevant for Super Polyness if there's a Warrior deck out there, so keep an eye on that. Crystal Girl is nice for stuff like Atlantean Mermail decks. I don't know about other stuff, but this is actually still pretty decent. I don't think plants are that good, so Rose Princess and Cloister, though, I guess are worth mentioning there. Photons and Galaxy Eyes aren't good enough, so I don't think their 2 new cards are like really going to change everything for them. And then as far as competitive players go for reprints, you've got stuff like Cloud Castle for your virtual world players. Cool, that could be a rarity bump. We've got stuff like the Utopia stuff getting better very soon, could be a competitive deck. Dolka, Dinos are always good. A little bit worse now because of the ban list, but still. Utopia Ray, same thing with Utopia stuff. M7, another virtual world reprint. Fortune Tune, another virtual world slash, I don't know, Burning Abyss reprint. Just decks that can make this. This is a AA Zeus abuser, so that's really cool. Anything else competitively is Lightning Storm, right? Any player, actually both of these, any player that wanted to play a dragon-based deck or side deck Lightning Storm or play a hard-going second deck with Lightning Storms, they can finally pick up these cards much cheaper now. So if you were a budget player but still play competitively, this is perfect for you. And then finally, we get to collector stuff. I don't know how collectible these will be, right? But they are Yugi cards, right? And if they don't get reprinted for a while, which could happen because they're not really competitive relevant, so people aren't like going to be jonesing to get these cards in that facet, so they might not be reprinted for a while there, which is fine. Collector stuff like Utopia support. This is F-Zero, and while he is more so geared towards the competitive market, he is still gonna be expensive probably out the gate, and he's Utopia, so that also helps there. Scrolling down more, anything else that could be expensive? Nothing too crazy here. Yeah, I wouldn't say much else is like collector based. I really think it's like mainly just F-Zero is like the main collector card in the set. And then, of course, if you consider like the new Arcane Knight stuff, collectors for like the people that are just like huge anime fans. and just want to get all the Yugi cards they can. So that is fine there. And then lastly, you can look at it from like a reprint standpoint. Look at all the reprints. Like you really want to judge like how good a lot of these reprints end up being, because it can give you an idea of really how much extra value they kind of just pumped into the set. So starting from here, I don't think any of this stuff is expensive at all. It's honestly, you can just pass it all by. But then you do get to Gravekeeper Spy. This is a great GOAT card. And even though this card has so many printings, not a single printing is like, you can't find one for lower than $2. It's crazy, especially not in good condition. So that's actually a really cool one. I don't think Majestic Dragon or Shadowlong are too crazy. Rescue Rabbit, we have plenty of printings of that. Tornado Bringer is an interesting one. That's like $4. That's a nice reprint for the upcoming Utopia stuff. Excited them. Just clear space. ZW Eagle Claw, not that crazy. Scrap Twin Dragon, not that crazy. Cloud Castle, not that crazy, although it could be a rarity bump, which is nice. Then you get to Baxia and Xiaofeng, both a couple bucks. You can't really find it for less than a couple bucks. Baxia is okay, but Xiaofeng only has one printing, and right now it's running around at about $6 to $7. So that's definitely a nice one there. Evolzar Dolka after Utopia. Obviously, Utopia has a million printings. With Dolka, look at this. Both printings are at like 10 to 20 bucks. That's insane, dude. That is insane. Next up, you have Wind Up Arsenal Zen Mayo. This card's like 10 bucks because it's only been printed once. That's really nice to get a nice little scope on. C39 Utopia Ray. This card does have multiple printings, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But the cheapest one here is what? At least still $2.50, if not more than that. Even the common's a couple bucks. So this is definitely a nice printing to see, especially with the Utopia stuff coming. Then we have M7. Look at this card. 4 different printings, and still the cheapest one is like $4. And it's a gold rare, so definitely nice to see a reprint coming there. ZW Leo Arms. This is another card that could potentially be something interesting with the Utopia stuff. And this card, again, 2 printings. The cheaper one is 15 bucks on this card. And the other one's an ulti, so crazy to see that card get a reprint. I didn't know it needed it, but apparently it does. Fortune Tune. This card's actually somewhat meta relevant. I didn't mention this before. This is a card that needed a reprint, and it's somewhat meta relevant because it does allow decks that make rank 3s easily to abuse Zeus much more easy. So of course he only has 1 printing, but still he's like cheapest price, like 10 bucks, and then it easily goes up to 13, 14 bucks. So this is definitely a huge card reprint wise. Infinite cards, 3 printings, but still the cheapest one's like $2. So that's nice. Older card getting a reprint. Bunch of misses here though. Rhoda has so many printings. Returning Alive has so many printings. Ties of the Brethren has printings. Pot of Duality, Unexpected Die, all of them kind of skip over those. World Legacy Guard Dragon though, that's a really nice one. Look at this. Even with dragons getting hit on the ban list fairly hard, they're still like $9 for the Ultra, like $6 for the Prismatic Secret. So that's another welcome reprint there. Lightning Storm right after that. This is the best reprint in the entire set. Look at it. Right now, market price was $90. That is insane. It'll probably go down after this, but still, that is so nice for budget players or anybody that just wanted to like get these and they hadn't yet because they were waiting for them to drop. Very, very nice. And you can skip kind of these two. This card only has 1 printing, so I guess that's nice, but even the 1 printing was like super cheap. Then you finish up with like the 3 Wicked Monsters. They're not too crazy, but they are a couple bucks. I mean, this guy was $11 there, $4 there. Nice to see Dreadroot get reprinted. This guy's like almost $7 there and $4 there for its 2 printings. So these are just more collector's cards, I guess. So you could argue that, but a collector would want to get the older, like more rare stuff anyway. So I wouldn't read too much into that from the collector's standpoint. You want the older cards, not the new print. But yeah, if you are a person that just always thought these were cool, wanted to get some copies of them, it's nice that they're coming out here, although it will kill some of the long-term value of the other ones. Maybe not the Shonen Jump promos. Those should still be fine long-term, but yeah. So definitely a lot of cool reprints. I think the set actually does a decent job at hitting all 3 markets. You've got collector stuff with like the new Yu-Gi-Oh, new Yugi cards. You hit the competitive standpoint with F-Zero and Lightning Storm getting like nice reprints. a little bit, not the craziest stuff competitively. It's kind of just those 2 cards, but it's a side set. How much are you really expecting a side set to do? Like, I'm just glad they imported that, or I thought they, like, if they didn't import that, they had to import something like, what is it? Decode Talker Heat Soul, right? Like something that you knew, like, meta players would immediately be interested in. And I'm glad they put something, right? And then you have the casual stuff. I think casual is like the main facet of this whole set. But I do think there's nice stuff for competitive players and collectors as well. So overall, I think it's a solid side set. I really do. Now, I don't know ratios and all that stuff. Maybe that screws some of this over. Maybe this ends up being insanely top heavy because Draco Future and Lightning Storm are like insanely hard pulls or something. But until we see that, I think overall the set's decent. Would I have liked some of the imports to involve some of like the cyber stuff, like Heat Soul, like Xcode? No, what's it called? Xcode Exporter, I think is the name. And like the other quick play spell that we don't have, the Signet quick play. Either stuff like that, that's like nice for code talkers, nice for Adignisters, stuff like that. These like fringe meta decks, right? But I'm okay. I think the set's actually pretty good. I think overall I'd give it like a 7 out of 10, a solid 7. I think a 6 feels a little bit too low, and I think anything higher than 7 is way too high. I think it hits all 3 markets pretty well, and I think it actually came out as a pretty good set at the end of the day, and I think overall you're going to get pretty good value out of this. Definitely could have been worse. Definitely could have been better, but definitely could have been worse. So I am happy to see where it turned out. So yeah, that's going to do it from here today, guys. Let me know in the comment section down below if you think 7 out of 10 is too high, too low, and why. Because I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this set overall. What are you most excited for from here? All that stuff. So thanks again for watching. I will see you in the next video. Subscribe if you haven't. You want to see more discussion videos. And peace.